A kinder, dare I say, a more gentle Mark Zinno on today's show? We shall see. Regardless, we will have 3 free plays, as always, all in college basketball today. Mark, speaking of 3 plays, you had 3 quote-unquote client plays yesterday, and they all won.
Yeah.
How red hot are you, buddy?
I'm doing okay. You know, I don't like the self-promotion part of this whole thing.
No.
I mean, 15-1 is not a bad run, so we can't complain. But the only one wrong that I got was last week's $5 play, which is crazy because I was on a really good Tuesday run. So today is $5 Tuesday. So you and I both have a $5 play up there. Look, we were a cheesy, stupid 3-pointer away from sweeping the board last night, right?
This show. On this show, yeah.
The Delaware Blue Hens continue to just do things that have not been seen in college basketball since James Naismith hung up the first peach basket, as Bryan Power would like to say.
I was gonna say, you better give me credit because that's my line.
That is his line.
My
yes.
line.
All right, so let me start here because I mean, look, we like to have a lot of fun on the show, right? Part of the entertainment of this show is that you and I, get along. We take jabs at each other. We have fun for the audience. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have been accused, and rightly so, of taking a little too far, which is what I have done. And I need to offer an apology to the viewers of the Morning Wager, in particular, an apology to not only one but 2 people who decided to invest their hard-earned money in me in buying a year subscription. Guys, okay, I thank you for your confidence in me, okay? And I appreciate you investing in me, okay? And I am genuinely thankful that you're doing so. It's the thing that I don't think, and this is the mentality of the industry, BP, and you and I talk about this a lot. It's the thing that I don't think a lot of people on our end understand. We talk about ROI, we talk about, units and this, that, and where we are. And I think most of the people who come to the show are here because they want to get a daily fix. They want to get a quick win and they want to get out, which I understand. Long term, you have to understand that if you're gonna do this, I just want, as long as we're cool with, at some point in time, I'm going to cool off. At some point in time, I'm going to have a bad month. At some point in time, I'm only going to hit 35, 40%. Like, this stuff always levels out. And so I just, while I appreciate the faith in me and I will do my best, obviously I'm not trying, would never try to get a pick wrong. It's a little bit, scary to kind of know that someone is sort of looking at you every single day for a year. So I took the joke a little bit too far. I apologize to those people who bought a year package. If you'd like to buy another one, knock yourself out. I won't make a big deal about it. I promise. But as the brokers of honesty and truth, I just, I feel like I need to say this just so we all understand that we're all on the same page, that, what I'm doing right now is not sustainable for a year. What we are doing right now as a show is not sustainable for a year. We just, the amount of sheer winning we're doing is probably pretty unheard of for as long as we've been doing it. So again, I thank you guys. I apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. Somebody said I should be fired. Maybe you're right. Who knows? And then you wouldn't be able to have this show if that was the case. So take it or leave it. But again, apologies. You know me, BP. When I mess up, I always say I mess up. When I'm bad, I say I'm bad, and I apologize. So there's that.
I'll tell you what, what a wonderful soliloquy that was by Mark. So I'll say this: Mark is relatively newer to the sport. Well, you've been talking about sports betting for a long time. You are the pick selling part of the equation. You're new to it, and it was your first time. It can be quite jarring when you see somebody is willing to invest their money with you for a year. So, and we like to have fun, like you say. But I'm glad that we're all on the same page. I'm glad we can be one happy family.
I've been accused of sometimes taking a joke too far. I've been accused of taking a joke too far. Maybe I took it too far. So again, I apologize to the 2 people. I hope you'll still have faith in me. Look, I'm still going to do the same thing. Like, I'm still going to give you picks that have been winning as of late. So we're in this one together. You guys, if you're getting in the foxhole with me, Bryan Power, if you get in the foxhole with me, you're not allowed out. We're going in together. Either we're going out in a box together or we're living together. So that's it.
And and if I may shamelessly gravy train off you here for a second, this is a we, not me situation I'm about to share. Okay,
Okay.
because Mark mentioned how, yes, 15-1, right? There was like this famous, the old big cat fella from Barstool was on a 16-0 run. It ended last night. And everyone was just, doing cartwheels over this thing. Mark, here's 15-1. It is very hard to win 15 of 16 bets like Mark has done. And it is even harder, I would argue, to do what Mark and I have done combined over the last 30 days. Mark, do you realize we're 76-32 in college basketball the last 30 days, the two of us
That's
combined?
almost 70%.
Yeah, that's over 70. That's very hard to do. So I would say the same thing, guys. It's been great. It's been a great run, but at some point, you got to know. Maybe I got one wrong last night in college hoops. I got Arkansas State wrong. Luckily, I got an NBA play right for a small winning day. But
Hell of a
we
call
move on.
yesterday in the NBA, by the way. Hell
Yes,
of a
the
call.
Charlotte Hornets. Yes, I wrote in my analysis at the end of the analysis. I truly believe the Hornets will win this game outright, and they
And
did as 9.5-point underdogs. It was very nice. So, all right, that was
first
yesterday.
division win of the year for the Charlotte Hornets. Now 1-11 in the Southeast Division.
Some say that is what pointed me in that direction, but I digress. Anyway, let's talk about college basketball because that is what everyone wants to hear about on Tuesday. Kind of an interesting card as some of the bigger conferences, namely the Big 12 and the ACC, get their tournaments going, while the smaller conferences are wrapping up. There's a lot of tournament finals going on. Now, the MAAC is where you are going to take us. They are actually a smaller conference, and B, just getting their tournament going. Yes. What in the name of Adam Trigger has happened to this conference? This conference stinks.
Yeah, it's
There's
bad.
no
I mean,
good teams.
my Loyola Greyhounds used to be in that conference way back in the day when they actually won it, and I called the game for it. Yeah, that was a good year. That's when the Metro Atlantic used to be a great mid-major, like 13th or 14th in the country, and it is fallen off mightily. And this is what happens. This is kind of across the board. It's happening in college sports, right? With all this movement of conferences, and like when Merrimack is running to your conference, that's a problem. Sorry, Merrimack.
They're the best team.
I know, but 80% of the people have no idea where Merrimack is.
I know. Well, I bet you a lot of people don't even know where, Siena and they know where Albany is. I would hope. Yes, well, I would hope when they know where Albany. Anyway, let's talk about this Sacred Heart Fairfield game.
Yes.
Here, I'm kind of out of sorts here. I had a technical issue a minute ago. I apologize.
Sacred Heart
in Fairfield.
Sounds like a girls' school. Technically, it is on Long Island. There's a Sacred Heart Academy, which is an all-girls school. My cousin went there. So it does sound like a girls' school. And Fairfield is a school where they drink beer and play lacrosse. Pretty well, actually. Anyway, look.
Dan Alexander.
Yeah, if you know anything about the Metro Atlantic, the bottom three teams don't make the conference tournament. Fairfield finished 10th and got in. Sacred Heart finished 6th. These two teams, if you look at them, they are two teams here that defensively are worse than 300th in Ken Palm in adjusted defensive efficiency. However, there are only two teams in this conference, in the Metro Atlantic, that have an offense that is above 200th in Ken Palm in adjusted offensive efficiency. One is Manhattan, and the other is Sacred Heart. And that's really what has kind of sold me here on this more than anything. Sacred Heart, the number one team in two-point shooting in the conference. They're 5th in three-point shooting, and this is going up against a Fairfield defense that is 8th and 9th in those two categories, respectively. They're 10th in effective field goal percentage defense. This is not a good team here defensively in Fairfield. The only real concern I have here is that Sacred Heart is 11th out of 13 teams in conference play in free throw shooting. That said, it's still at 72%. So it's like, okay, there are teams making a lot higher than that, but 72% is not an awful free throw percentage. But again, this is a Fairfield team that's bad on offense. They can't shoot. And even though the Sacred Heart defense is nothing to get excited about, I think the offense gets enough here to get this thing home. Really like this play. I think the numbers should be higher. I think the numbers closer to 6.5, if not 7, for this game. So we get a little bit of value. It's the pioneers of Sacred Heart. So that's where we're going tonight for my half of the double play. We'll lay the 4.5 with Sacred Heart. And oh, by the way, Brian Power, I forgot to mention this in my little soliloquy to open the show. Yeah, to those folks, I'm sorry. To the people in the comment section, like, oh, Zinno, you're annoying. You can bite me. I don't apologize to you. Forgot to leave that in there. I don't like you guys. Okay.
Oh, Zinno, you're annoying. Power is the greatest. Zinno's annoying. Ooh.
Don't watch, loser.
I like
There we
that.
go. Back to myself again.
I use my burner account to like those comments. No, I didn't. That's not true. That's not fair. We're both great, everybody. All right. That is Mark Zinno. He is on a 15-1 overall run, guys, and he likes Sacred Heart tonight. Yes, that is men's basketball.
Don't watch because I'm annoying. Just keep forgetting about the 15-1 part, losers.
Okay. So from the
You're annoying, Zinno. You're annoying.
Okay, now you're annoying me. I'd like to actually speak on the show today. From the MAC, we go to the Northeast Conference Tournament, the final today. Have you been paying attention to the NEC tournament, Mark Zinno?
You think? How about no?
Okay, well, I reckon, a lot of the viewers haven't been paying attention to the NEC tournament as well. So let me let me catch you up here on how St. Francis of Pennsylvania got to this tournament final. The Red Flash, that's their nickname, not making it up. In the quarterfinal, they beat Wagner 58-55. This is a game where Wagner shot 3 of 24 from 3. In addition to that, do you know how St. Francis won that game, Mark? I do not. Okay. It was 55-55. They go for a game-winning 3. Guys fouled. He hits 3 free throws with 2 seconds left to win. That's pretty lucky, right? Mm-hmm. You will not believe what happened in the tournament semifinal against Long Island. The same thing happened again. It's 68-68. St. Francis has the ball. 1 second left. Guy gets fouled shooting a 3. He makes all 3 free throws. They advance. Are you ribbing me? This team can't be allowed to go to an NCAA tournament when they're hitting walk-off free throws 2 games in a row. Oh, by the way, in addition to needing walk-off free throws for a second straight time against Long Island, St. Francis was down 15 at half in that game. This tonight is where the road ends, however. St. Francis is facing top seed Central Connecticut. They have been the best team in the NEC all season. Leaps and bounds better than the rest of the lot in the Ken Palm rating. Blue Devils, that's Central Connecticut. They did need overtime to win their semifinal game against Fairleigh Dickinson, Mark. Remember, Fairleigh Dickinson. You and I first met. What did we do that first day? We cashed a ticket on Fairleigh Dickinson outright against Purdue in the NCAA tournament. Yes, that was quite the day.
That was a live bet at half for the record.
Yes, that was, wow, were we out of hand at that steakhouse. Anyway,
People were not happy with us.
Well, there were some complaints, but that's okay.
It was loud.
Complaints seem to follow you, by the way, for the record.
Why me?
I digress.
Now you're separating. Now it's no longer we. Now it's just you.
Reading the comments section from yesterday. I digress. Let's go back to
I'm not that likable. I think we know this. I mean, you know.
Well, let's go back to the game here. Okay.
Not everyone's brand.
Central Connecticut needed overtime to beat Fairleigh Dickinson. I was shocked by that for 2 reasons. They were up 21 in that game in the second half. I turned it off. I was actually watching a little bit of it, and I saw I said, what has happened here? So an inexplicable kind of melt. They still win, though. I think they're done playing with their food. NCAA tournament berth on the line tonight. Central Connecticut gets it done. They're laying 10. I don't care. They beat St. Francis by 15 and 16 in the 2 meetings in the regular season. Oh, by the way, this is at Central Connecticut. This is one of those tournaments where games are played at campus sites. I expect a rout. Top seed goes dancing, and the extremely fortunate St. Francis gets packing. Back-to-back walk-off wins with free throws? Get out of here.
Thank you, Adam Trigger, for that lengthy breakdown.
It was a little long, wasn't it? I was bouncing back and forth. I was getting you involved.
You were talking about teams that weren't even playing in the game.
I don't know what I was doing. I'll be honest. I got lost. Okay.
Dear Lord, talk about meandering.
Yeah, it's like when I go for a walk and I put the Grateful Dead on in the headphones and now stop that again, okay? I'm glad that Joe Ranieri's not here today, but yeah, I put Grateful Dead on the headphones and I'm, next thing I know, I'm in somebody's front yard. but that's a different story for a different day. All right. So our double play for today, those keeping score at home, Sacred Heart and Central Connecticut.
How did we get here?
That was fun. I ask myself that every day.
Sounds like two high schools. Honestly, it does. It sounds like two high schools.
Yeah. But then again, perhaps the people should listen to us, Mark. I will go through this one more time. Over the last 30 days, you and I are 1-2 overall at the site. 1-2 overall in college basketball. The college basketball record, guys, it's 76-32. Mark and I, the last 2 days combined in college hoops. We're seeing it well, and you still have time. I'm bringing this up for good reason. You still have time to get down rest of the season from the both of us. $198. That deal was extended through Selection Sunday. You get every single pick Mark and I release from today through the national championship game. And yes, it is $5 Tuesday, Mark. You've been on I know you lost last week. You mentioned the odds, but you've been on a great $5 Tuesday run. Yeah. I won on $5 Tuesday last week. So, I've got a $5 best bet. I'm 5-0 in March, by the way. With college basketball plays rated 4% or higher, and it is a 4% play tonight, just $5.
Go to wt.buzz/MZ and see all the great things that Brian Power wrote for me.
Shouted from the rooftops, 15-1. Wow.
We do have to get these scientists pictured. People have sent that to me. Everyone that knows it can't unsee
now I
it.
want to change it up a little bit. I want to change it up a little bit. Change up the voice so it's not so, but I kind of just default to that.
Were you a Simpsons guy growing up? Is that where
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's where it's from? Because it is. It sounds exactly like the science.
I guess it does. I'm sort of just, trying to throw the tenor and volume of my voice, and I keep defaulting to the same thing. I don't know why. So
it's funny. We all enjoy it.
I could default to the guy who runs this place. He's wonderful. Ow, I just hacked my hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened there? Is there an earthquake going on there? What the hell's going on? All right.
My hand on the desk.
I have no idea what our show best bet is supposed to be. Oh, yes, I do know what our show best bet is supposed to be.
Come on. How much money have we handed out on Delaware?
And tonight, ladies and gentlemen,
we are going to do the opposite
of the Coastal Athletic Association as the Blue Hens of Delaware take on NC Wilmington. Mark mentioned at the outset of this program that we were one last-second three away from a 3-0 sweep on Monday's show. That last-second three went against NC Wilmington. That was my half and double play. Looked like we were going to get a fortunate cover with the Seahawks, but you could see it coming. Charleston dribbles down with a couple seconds left, nails a three to only lose by one. Nevertheless, I said it on yesterday's show. I obviously still feel the same today. I've said it many times on the college basketball tip-off show that I do every Thursday when I bizarrely talk about this conference a lot on Thursdays because they play every week on Thursdays, I guess. NC Wilmington's the best team in this league. I don't care that they were the 2 seed. They were much better than Towson by the metrics. They're laying 7.5 tonight to this upstart Delaware team who is now playing for a 5th time in 5 days. Mark, last year in the CAA tourney final, it was a Stony Brook team playing for a 5th time in 5 days. They fell short. Delaware has shot 55% or better from the field 3 of the last 4 games. We think it ends tonight. We think they run out of gas.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem here is that, for Stony Brook, you're asking them. And last year, by the way, Stony Brook they didn't play in the very first round. They actually won 3 games in 3 days, beating Northeastern and then Drexel, who was the 2 seed in double overtime, and then Hofstra, who was the 3 seed by 4. And then they lost in OT to Charleston, who was the number 1 seed. There's a couple of things that play here. One, when you're trying to become the 3rd team ever to win 5 games in 5 days, you better be super special, and I don't know that this team is. I think the last time it happened was UConn with Kemba Walker at Madison Square Garden in 2011. I think that was the year when they won 5 games in 5 days and won the Big East. Delaware, as you mentioned, has been on fire. But I've sort of scouted this entire tournament, right? Like, we played Delaware in the Open. I stayed off in the second game against Elon, but against Campbell, rather. And they still bombed away threes. They did it in the third game. They were scoring last night. We had them yet last night. That was one of my plays, was Delaware's team total over. They got there with, about 5 or 6 minutes left. They cleared it. They've been on fire. The problem here is that Towson was a top defense in the Coastal, and NC Wilmington is the other top defense in the Coastal. And I just think at this point in time, it catches up to them. Wilmington has been the far better team all season long between these two teams. And really the issue is, to a certain extent, when you look at what the path that Delaware has had to do to get here, right? When you talk about the teams that they've had to beat, again, Stony Brook is a bad offense. William Mary and Campbell are very average offenses. That's not the case for UNC Wilmington. The top offense in the league, number 1 in effective field goal percentage, number 1 in 3-point shooting, number 3 in 2-point shooting. They're a good free throw shooting team. And this is a bad Delaware defense. And so the game script unfolds, I think, here as I'm being long-winded. I think NC Wilmington gets out to an early lead, and Delaware gets out of its game script and is forced to chase. And when push comes to shove, I don't know if they can keep up the hot shooting for a 5th straight night here. So we're going to kind of do the George Costanza. We'll do the opposite here and fade Delaware. Finally take NC Wilmington -7.5. Shop around. There are a couple of different numbers out there. But lay it with NC Wilmington here tonight in the final.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off what Mark said, only 2 teams in history have won 5 games in 5 days. The first was that UConn team Mark referenced, yes, in 2011 with Kemba Walker. The second was last year, NC State.
Oh, that's right.
And they just fired their head coach. What a difference a year makes. So how about them apples?
Nothing like making a Final Four run only to get fired the next year.
So that NC State team
was for me lately.
Okay, we're not going to do that. I think we've been talking enough on this show. We don't need to bring singing into the equation. Please, everybody.
Tell me who sings that song.
I don't know, actually. It was
Trudy Watley.
Okay, I wasn't going to get it. I was not. I had no chance at earning that dollar. But no. But for only $5, everybody, you can get best bets from both Mark and I. $5 each. That is WagerTalk.com. WT.buzz/MZ. WT.buzz/BP. Don't forget about that rest of the season special. $198. Every play Mark and I release from now to the national championship game. Guys, we're hot. 76-32 combined run in college hoops. Smash that like button if you liked today's show.
And leave a comment down below. But be nice. Okay? I was nice to everybody today. Everybody else, be nice. If you think I'm annoying, don't watch. Go somewhere else. I don't need you here.
I hope you were being genuine with that, as you bared your soul to the audience. I hope that wasn't something you were forced to do at gunpoint.
No, there's no gun. The only guns here are the ones that I have. Yeah, buddy.
Boy, there we go. All right. I know you don't like the word subscribe, Mark, but if all of you out there could click that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, we would appreciate that. It helps keep this content free and keeps it coming.
Friends to check this show out because we are so hot. Not like physically. I am. You're not. But, hot as far as giving out picks.
I was actually looking at myself here on the screen.
What is that shirt you're wearing? I mean, I noticed that earlier when you came up. What are those little logos on the shirt? Are they roses?
Yeah, it's a pretty standard BP shirt right there.
That's the point. It is a BP shirt.
I wear a lot of flower pattern shirts. What are we doing? Okay, okay. What are we doing here? I don't like that. Okay, I put on some weight this week. Okay, what are we doing here?
Flowers. Right. Flowers. Ooh, boy. There we go. Flowers. I know I'm uncomfortable.
I know. I was getting very uncomfortable. Do I have to go to comment down below? Should I go just for men? It bothers me like this gray streak all the time. Like
my hair like walnuts from The Sopranos a little bit. Throw that straight back.
It depends. Somehow it is. Sometimes like it's a streak. I don't know. All right, we've talked enough. I mean, we've said too much.
Yeah, time for us to go. $5 plays. WT.buzz/MZ. WT.buzz/BP. Get the March basketball thing. What do you call it? What's it called? The thing.
Expand a special offer?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, everybody. Let's cash the tickets.